Dallas not only wins, but wins in dominant fashion, 122-84. The Mavericks go on to go only 14-41 for three-point range. The Celtics, ironically, hit more threes in this game, but Dallas was dominant start to finish. Luka Doncic was excellent, particularly, and this was a credit to Luka, because I and everybody and everybody's mama called Luka after game 3. Like, bad effort on the defensive end, at least be respectable and not be, as Pat Bev once called Chris Paul, a cone on that end of the floor. Luka Doncic, is the primary defender, held Boston Celtics players to 2 of 11. And throughout that game, I mean, closeouts, even if he's not playing amazing Gary Payton defense or an all-time great guard defender like a Michael Jordan, for example, he's staying in front of guys. He was moving his feet. I think there was one play early on the first half where Jason Tatum is being guarded by Luka, and Tatum drives past almost like at a 75% speed, assuming that's enough to get by Luka. Luka shuts him off, and Tatum, again, I'm not going to play a body language expert, but almost looks a little surprised, like, oh, okay. Like, I did not see that coming. I didn't think Luka was going to step in front of me, because he didn't do it at all in game 3 or throughout the course of the first 3 games of the series. So Dallas now down 3-1. Of course, as we know, no team in the history of the NBA Finals has ever come back. Heck, forget that, the NBA Finals. In the history of the NBA playoffs, has come back from down at 3-0 in a best-of-7 series. Here's the thing for Dallas. So again, I'm not going to, what I'm about to say has almost nothing to do with Friday night. Almost nothing to do with it. Dallas was supposed to win in many respects. I know Boston was favored to win the game. I would have been really surprised. I talked about the potential of Luka getting swept on Friday, what it would mean. The other superstars in NBA history have been swept. I didn't think Dallas would get swept as a guy who picked them to win the series. But Dallas winning the dominant fashion they did was a combination of Boston having a ton of room for error, given that they're up 3-0, and they're the better starting 5 compared to Dallas' starting 5, and the fact that Dallas is desperate and at home. So I want you to follow me on a little journey here into a very narrow possibility that the Dallas Mavericks win this series. And again, I think, is it 156-0? Teams that have been up 3-0 in a 7-game series that have gone on to win, obviously. Only 4 of those have ever faced a Game 7. Ironically, one of those teams was the Boston Celtics a year ago, down 3-0 to Miami, came back to tie the series and go to a Game 7. Tonight's Game 5, and I'll predict the game at the end of the show, is going to be the best chance, I think, by far, for the Celtics to win this series. You're like, Bryson, they got 3 opportunities. They have 4 opportunities. Well, okay, we'll just flush game 4 down the toilet. You got 3 opportunities to win 1 game. If Boston doesn't do it tonight, boy, you want to talk about pressure. Because in my mind, if this puppy goes to a Game 6 in Dallas, if memory serves me correctly, Luka Doncic has never been closed out at home in his career. Because 2020 was the bubble. There was no home games. 2021, he was closed out in LA against the Clippers in Game 7. 2022 is closed out on the road after almost getting swept by the Warriors in this conference finals. Dallas won Game 4, got blown out in Game 5 by Golden State. You think about, and that's really the only 2 series Luka's lost in a home court advantage like series. There's no way Dallas loses Game 6. I'm not saying Dallas wins Game 7 by default just by coming back from 3-0, because we saw what Boston did. At home, nonetheless. Just got again, Tatum turned his ankle in that game. There's a lot of factors, but Miami just outplayed them, out-physicaled them from the jump. If this puppy gets to a Game 7, because I don't think Dallas will lose a Game 6, you want to talk about pressure. After all, for years and years, Tatum and Brown can get the job done, and now you're on the doorstep. Now it's like, okay, yeah, they're 15-2, dominant playoff run. Folks are having conversations. Is this one of the greatest teams in NBA history? Certainly one of the greatest individual seasons in NBA history, potentially. And all of a sudden, holy crap, we're in a Game 7, potentially to win the finals, but also to lose the finals. I give Boston a 90% chance to win tonight. Tatum hasn't been good throughout the series. We can actually show you. You know what? I'll do the Tatum segment in a few minutes. But Tatum hasn't been good throughout the series. But if he's a C+, B-, Boston will take that. I think Jaylen Brown will be much better in Boston than he was in Dallas. He wasn't particularly good. He was good in Game 3. Was awful. Everybody for Boston was awful in Game 4. Again, you see what you get from guys like Porzingis. His health is still a little bit of a concern. It's a very, very weird injury. that he suffered a week ago in game 2. All these factors, I think Boston's role players will shoot better. A guy like a Sam Hauser, a Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, obviously, he'll be much better offensively, you would think, in Boston than in Dallas. On the other side of the coin, Luka's Luka. I know what I'm getting from him. Kyrie's the wild card. Getting to him in just a second. And the other guys for Dallas were absolutely, as bad as Boston was shooting from 3 the first 2 games of the series and really throughout the series, Dallas was just as bad, if not worse. And so that is the case for a Boston Celtics win tonight. It's the very reason they're favored by 6.5 points in game 5. And history, of course, on their side. What I would tell you is this. So Kyrie Irving, we know coming into game 4, lost 13 straight games to the Boston Celtics. I believe since the whole stomping on Lucky thing, right? The whole, the curse of Lucky is what some Celtics fans deemed it. Like, Kyrie hasn't beaten Boston since. Well, that monkey's off his back because the Mavs won game 4. I said after game 2 when Kyrie played poorly in the first 2 games, because clearly the Boston crowd was messing with him, that the home court of Dallas, ease in, calm down, the crowd's on your side, get your rhythm back in this series, and we can show you what Kyrie has done. What he did in the first 2 games of Boston as opposed to Dallas, and this obviously, as you might imagine, quite different. In Boston, Kyrie averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists on 35% from the field. Did not make a 3 in Boston. 0% from 3-point range. In Dallas, those numbers, certainly the points per game, double. He goes from 14 points, 28 points in Dallas. Assist numbers stay the same. He goes up 1 rebound. Field goal percentage goes from 35 to 50 in Dallas. 3-point percentage skyrockets. It's impossible not to. From 0 to 41%. So Kyrie plays kind of like the Kyrie we've become accustomed to throughout this playoff run and even back in the days as LeBron's co-star in Cleveland. So Kyrie's not watching this. That I know for a fact. Kyrie Irving is not watching this show. I will just, if there's a Hail Mary chance that anybody who knows Kyrie Irving is watching this, it could be his dad, it could be anybody in his own circle, very slim chance they're watching this. But in the event that they are, let me take a drink of water for a moment. Look at the camera and address Kyrie through whoever may know him and is watching this. Kyrie Irving, you've been on quite the roller coaster as it pertains to your relationship with the Boston Celtics. As a matter of fact, it would be, I guess, classified as a drop coaster, or it's like those. I actually went to a theme park yesterday to celebrate my dad for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody. But those rides where you go like 100 feet up and you just come straight down, that's really Kyrie Irving's relationship with the Boston Celtics, because it's gone down ever since it began in 2017. So that's no secret. But Kyrie Irving, here's what I can tell you. You've gotten your rhythm. You've been more efficient. You scored the basketball more consistently. A strong argument can be made. I would make it that Kyrie Irving was the best Mav in game 3, not Luka. In large part because of Luka's defense, Luka fouling out. Kyrie was a more reliable player for the Dallas Mavericks in that basketball game. You've gotten your rhythm like we've seen throughout the course of the majority of this playoff run. This will be the hardest, and I include 2016 against Golden State. I'm not kidding. The hardest game you will ever have to win. But I don't need you to be Superman. I need number 77 over there to be Superman, but I've seen him be Superman. Or Batman, whatever, if we want to use the Robin example. Go get your 25. Go be efficient. Don't, put good effort in the defensive end. I'm not asking you to be Gary Payton. Not asking you to be Tony Allen or anybody, but good effort in the defensive end. Make it tough. Again, close out and shooters, the whole bit. Take a deep breath. But the Boston crowd, they don't exist. They never happen. That's easier said than done. I get that. It's one thing to be the man in the arena and the guy sitting in my seat as a podcast host. But just for this game, because if you go back there for a game 7, the tables will have turned then, my man. Pressure's off you. Yes, I could lose to the team that I spurned in 2019, lose a championship on their floor, but I already beat them there, and we've won 3 straight games against them. We've got to a game 7. There's no pressure on me. I hit one of the biggest shots in NBA history against a 73-win Warriors team. I've been here, and I've done that before. Kyrie. Deep breath, exhale, enjoy the moment. Do what you do as well as any human being on the face of God's green earth, and that is play basketball at the highest level. Efficient shooting, good effort in the defensive end, and come up clutch the fourth quarter. Because my guess is I'm predicting this game at the end of the show, this puppy's going to be close. I do not see Boston blowing them out. I don't really see Dallas blowing Boston out. So that's my message to Kyrie Irving. It's as simple as this. Boston should win tonight. They should. They absolutely should win this game tonight. They had the momentum. They got the split in Dallas they wanted. You close out on your home floor. Banner number 18. If Dallas pulls this off, they're going to win the series. Barring injury. Barring major injury, knock on wood, nobody gets hurt. I don't want anybody for either side getting hurt. Knock on wood, nobody gets injured. If Dallas wins tonight, they will be your 2024 NBA champions. I'm telling you right now. I'm not saying I'm picking them. Not saying I'm not picking them. I'll predict that at the end of the show. But I think the path is far from easy. You got to win 3 basketball games against a team that has lost 3 games total in these NBA playoffs. But I've seen crazier. Not much crazier. I mean, I saw 28-3 Tom Brady. See some crazy stuff, but then this would be up there. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.